Okay, here we go. This is Jake stands for CE300 for my scholarly person video. Here are my 5 live audience individuals. 1, 2, 3, 4. Connor. All right. And there may be a cat periodically. Apologies in advance if he arrives and hops in front of the camera. Okay, I'll take my seat over there. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for volunteering to participate. The objective of the video presentation is basically to define what a scholarly person is and also to outline what makes a scholarly person in the workplace, professionally, the advantages to being a scholarly person in society, and also identifying my personal career goals and identifying social justice issues in my career field that I will likely encounter, and wrapping it all together and defining how I, as trying to achieve being a scholarly person, will succeed in my workplace. So first beginning with what is a scholarly person. As many of us would probably suggest, a scholarly person is someone who's well-educated or intelligent, who has studied a particular interest or subject extensively, so they're essentially an expert on it. I would also expand that that individual has a higher ability to exercise creative thinking and executive functioning. They're able to see issues and problems from more open-mindedness and can utilize their critical thinking skills to better rationalize problems and better solve problems that reflect solutions for the betterment of a larger group of individuals. So in expanding on that, what would describe an everyday hero? I would suggest that an everyday hero is all those things that I listed for a scholarly person, but in addition to those, I would also say an everyday hero person, someone you may find in your general everyday interactions with people, would be someone who also exhibits selflessness and care and kindness towards society, or wanting to support the betterment and impact society. Going beyond just themselves and thinking how they can impact someone else's day, even if it's a single individual, or how they can positively impact their community. I think that's what defines an everyday hero. Going into a bit of my personal professional goals and how I plan on finishing up academically here at WSU and beyond. I'm currently in the individualized studies major after an attempt at nursing at WSU. Though I was unsuccessful with that, I still hope to finish in nursing after Winona State. So once I finish in my degree in individualized studies, there's the cat. I will hopefully by next year move on to a different institution and continue my pursuit in nursing, and hopefully apply the coursework that I've already completed here and be able to expedite the process at a different institution to fulfill my goal of becoming a nurse. And within nursing, I particularly have a focus in elder care or older adult population, so that is ultimately where I hope to land, and I hope to accomplish that goal by next year. Staying in the topic of healthcare or the healthcare field for professions and identifying social justice issues in healthcare, I'll go with probably the broadest, but also the most significant social justice issue I see in healthcare, and that would be access and attainability for healthcare by all, and how we can make that happen in society, even beyond just a political issue, more looking at the ethical component of it from my perspective at least. I believe that it's a right of all people to be able to obtain health care, have access to it through reasonable means and affordability. And of course, there are a lot of political connotations that come along with that, and a whole complex issue on top of it. But in a broad sense, that I would believe to be the biggest issue facing healthcare. How can we make it more accessible to all individuals? How can we ensure that people can be taken care of when they truly need it? And how can we structure a plan that is manageable and affordable, and all those things that come up in politics, but at the base issue of social justice, I believe that's a priority in healthcare. And also at a little more in-depth level in healthcare, avoiding stereotypes or deficiencies in level of care based on background, because that's certainly possible in healthcare with physicians and nurses. When you see particular patients of minority backgrounds or different religious beliefs, it could sometimes create a stereotype that would lower the quality of that individual's level of care that they receive. And that is a lot of times based off of personal biases in the healthcare providers, or personal elements aside from the basic principle of a person in need needing your care. So that is an issue that can definitely appear in healthcare settings, and can definitely be improved upon by all healthcare officials. Expanding on the effects of being an educated person or a scholarly person as it relates to social aspects, financial and professional. Within a social aspect, being an educated person or being a scholarly person, as I kind of noted, includes, as we would recognize, being someone who's more educated or more intelligent, who can exercise higher levels of critical thinking, who can rationalize more broadly and see issues and problems from a wider perspective. So where this becomes beneficial in society is these people are most appropriate as leaders, or people that you can look to as role models, to be the best examples of individuals that can impact change in society. They're individuals that can see and design an outlook for the future, so they have preparedness for the issues that they will face personally and from a community standpoint. Professionally, continuing on the idea of being a leader, being a well-educated person separates you from other candidates. If you're more educated and have a broader array of experiences at your disposal, you will be a better, not only a professional candidate in the workplace, but you'll be a leader in that particular setting that people can look to. And from a financial standpoint, I don't think it's any secret that people that are well educated or obtain higher levels of education generally earn better salaries and have a more diverse pool of opportunities available to them to succeed. So they can be more financially successful for those reasons, with having the opportunity to earn a greater salary and be in higher level positions than counterparts that are that do not have the same standard of education. Moving on to the next point, if you're familiar with the Erikson's theory in psychology, Erik Erikson was a psychologist who developed a theory of humans across the lifespan in terms of psychosocial development, and he theorized that individuals progress through their lifespan touching on 8 different conflicts or dilemmas as they go along the way. And relating this to a professional setting, or relating this further to being a scholarly person, how progressing through the stages positively or healthily, I should say, give you a better chance of being successful and being a scholarly person. I'll touch on a couple of them. For one, I think it's kind of starts at the third level in that scale, initiative versus guilt, it's called, in which this is commonly found in the toddler stage growing up, but it's where you start to develop a sense of control over your world versus feeling guilt or feeling a lack of initiative to have that control, or feeling the ability to have that control. The next stage after that is industry versus inferiority. So at this level, not only are you examining your world and feeling control over your world, but you're also asking the question, how good can I be? How competent am I to be in charge of myself? So it kind of is a development of self-confidence, and that's a huge component of people that are more successful in society from an educational standpoint, how confident and how competent they are. And the next progressive step after that, really a very important broad step is identity achievement versus identity diffusion, or also called role confusion, a point when an individual, usually in adolescence, develops their sense of self or really starts to form their direction of their life and understand what they want to be and what they want to accomplish in their life, versus role confusion, which would have no clear-cut direction or sense of what they want to accomplish. So people that are generally scholarly and educated, more likely than not, have a clear sense of direction in their life. They know what they want to achieve, and they know how they want to impact themselves, their immediate communities, and in a broader sense, the world. And then the final component of the presentation, I just want to touch on two examples from our class textbook that I really like and I really believe are relatable to my personal experiences after having to make changes in my college career through two major changes and kind of having to face the question, is the path that I'm on the correct path? Is it what I'm cut out for, or do I need to go back to the drawing board, et cetera, et cetera? So one I'll look at here for the sake of the video, page 100 and 101 of the text. It focuses on the idea of not letting self-doubt keep you from trying. So thinking about myself in that sense, certainly a lot of moments of facing doubt or facing kind of a damaged ego or a damaged sense of if I was on the right path. And the true message there is just perseverance, being able to adapt to a new situation and going about it feeling confident that I can succeed even though it's new and I'm going out of my comfort zone and I'm challenging myself to accomplish something wild and accomplish something that will be challenging. And then the second one, page 37 in the text, story titled Talking with a Gorilla, in which a woman explores what she believes to be her dream job as studying language in apes, and she works in that field and obtains that dream job, coming to discover that it is not what she imagined, it's not the dream that she envisioned, and she feels guilt and discouragement in herself after discovering that, after being so confident that that was what was right for her. And she talks with a career counselor and states that she just doesn't know where to go. She was previously a teacher before that point, so she lacks direction, and she blames herself a lot for that lack of direction. And the quote that sticks with me, the career counselor says to her, "You've got to make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. It's good to make mistakes. That's the only way to learn." And I truly believe in that saying, and I like that because that is quite true, that you learn your greatest lessons in life through mistakes and experiences. So I think it's very applicable to what I've experienced in my college career and in life as a whole. That is all I have on my notes. I believe that covers everything. Thank you guys for persevering through it, and thanks again for being here.